Hello there. I hope you're having a good day. Here from Algiers, we're live on All 24 News Channel, day 2 of the Intra-African Trade Fair. After Algeria Day, today it's all about connecting with the African diaspora under the banner of Global Africa. Over 35,000 visitors, thousands of exhibitors, and billions in potential deals. This fair is pulsating with trade, innovation, and continental cooperation. And before we kick off our debate for today, let's get the latest. On day 2 of the Intra-African Trade Fair, Algeria is calling for the mobilization of its diaspora and all African communities abroad. To help drive Africa's growth and development, Acting Prime Minister Sifi Grib says the diaspora holds powerful economic, cultural, and political potential, for that matter, and can play a vital role in reshaping Africa's global image. Speaking at the Intra-African Trade Fair, he highlighted the importance of reconnecting spiritually and emotionally with the continent, and reaffirmed Algeria's commitment to its diaspora, which is now constitutionally recognized as an integral part of the nation. He also paid tribute to the sacrifices of Algerian immigrants, calling them a vital force in the country's future.
The need has become more urgent than ever to redouble efforts aimed at mobilizing the energies of African communities, harnessing their competencies and expertise, and strengthening the unity, solidarity, and cohesion of the continent. This must be done in a manner that contributes to achieving integrated and comprehensive development for Africa, supported by its diaspora and people of African origin. This imperative reflects our complete and shared conviction that the global African community constitutes a significant economic, social, political, and cultural force, an actor capable of making an increasing contribution to the prosperity and development of the continent. Algeria accords a special status to its expatriate communities, a commitment that is constitutionally enshrined, recognizing them as an integral part of the nation. This constituency has been constantly placed at the heart of President Abdelmajid Tebboun's concerns and remains an object of his utmost attention. This profound bond, fortified by pivotal historical events witnessed by our nation, has served to consolidate the sacred unity between the expatriate community and its homeland.
هذه الوحدة المقدسة بين الجالية في ديار المهجر ووطنها الأم.
And to kick off the debate, I am privileged to have with me here Mr. Quidri Shakib Ismail. Mr. Quidri, thank you for accepting our invitation for the day.
Thank you for having me.
And also, we're honored to have Mr. Rani Safari, who is a CEO of a very successful company in the diaspora. So, Mr. Rami, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Yes, so good afternoon. Yes, so my company is, the name of a company is QB Building Materials Limited. It's located in Accra, Ghana. So we start by trading actually from China building materials like roofing tiles and some rain gutters, PVC and all this. And then during my stay in Ghana, we get the idea that tricycles is a good business, but we didn't went with the idea of trading. So actually we bring CKD, that means completely knocked down. And then we create our brand there. The name is QB. And we are now producing tricycles made in Ghana. Is like African brand, and we are proud of it. Yes, this is, yes.
So, Mr. Safari, as you said, you're an entrepreneur, that you have brought something new to the Ghanaian market. Now, how do you see the African diaspora, such as yourself, helping to bridge markets between the West and North Africa, for example? What opportunities do you see in working with North African markets, and especially here in Algeria as a diaspora entrepreneur?
Actually, for me, because maybe of my experience that I travel a lot in Africa, too many countries. So what I saw is that between North and West of Africa, of course, there is a big opportunity for business. Like For example, when we compare Algeria, it's a huge resources. There is a lot of things when we talk about Algeria. There is a lot of opportunities, a lot of products. They can be traded in Ghana, and rivers also. Like for example, I don't know. For us, we are bringing the cacao, for example. I don't know from where, but he is just the source is in Ghana. But follow my ideas, my thinking. I think deep actually in this subject. I think the most important is not a problem, actually, is a challenge. We are facing it between African countries is the logistic. No matter by sea, no matter by air, no matter by roads. This is the most important challenge, for not saying a problem, because I believe it will be solved one day.
Hopefully.
Yes.
And speaking of the challenges, Mr. Kouidri, as the managing director of the Algerian Chamber of Commerce, what role is the diaspora playing in boosting trade, and how is Algeria engaging those communities, according to you?
Actually, at the Chamber of Commerce, we are a platform that is helping companies and entrepreneurs to connect with the governments, connect between themselves, and also connect with the other companies abroad. Speaking about the diaspora, I honestly believe that nowadays our diaspora, the African in general diaspora, and the Algerian diaspora in particular, is really ready to play a very serious and very important role in the development of the country and the continent overall. As you mentioned, today the diaspora is in the front line with the external world. They are our permanent diplomats and permanent ambassadors, and they're spreading the African culture, the African they are sending messages about who we are, and also the other way around. They are bringing to the country and to the continent the know-how and some of the expertise that we've been lacking in the past. So now our diaspora has reached a certain level that allow them to be really in a pole position to transmit all this know-how, knowledge and expertise to the country and to the continent.
Thank you indeed. And speaking of the diaspora in general, what about the Global Africa Diaspora Day being highlighted here at the fair, Mr. Safari? Is this more than something ceremonial or just symbolic? Can we really talk about something measurable? Can we expect measurable outcomes on the ground coming from this initiative? How will this translate, according to you, into real investments or business partnerships?
Yeah, truly. Actually, it's not just ceremony. What I saw yesterday here, it's something actually is honorable for Algeria by first, and is also is honorable for all African, because it was a very deep connections between companies. We saw a lot of companies here. They are coming, visiting Algeria, attending the IITF, and they are willing for cooperation. That means those people here, they didn't come for a holiday. They are working, looking for work, for making companies connect with each other. Because there is a lot of African companies as well, no matter in north, south, east or west, or even in center. They are suffering from delaying time of importing from the north of the world or from the west, and also when we are talking about time, is not just the time, it's also cost. So I believe that this IATF, it was very beneficial for all African countries, and there is real business was there on the site.
And speaking about these obstacles, now over to you, Mr. Quidri. Now, can we speak of remittances and diaspora financing being evolving in Algeria into something structured, such as structured investments? Can we see anything promising, at least in the medium term?
We have been in the past couple of months, I would say, meeting some of our brilliant diaspora who have succeeded in different places around the world. Now, some of their main objectives and purpose, I would say, is to come back to the country, not necessarily staying permanently, however, setting the bridges with the country, especially with the young generation. For some of them, they're saying we would like to pay back what we've got from this country. And speaking about structured efforts, I think now we can see some of the diaspora organized in some, let's say, associations, or and some of them through the businessmen for associations. They are organized in such a way they can launch projects of accompanying young entrepreneurs or startup owners through some financing products such as crowdfunding or business angels as well, looking for opportunities or looking sometimes just for some recognition, really, coming back to the country and participate in this revitalization of the economy in the country.
But many of them speak of certain barriers, and according to your perspective, what barriers are still existing to intra-African trade? I mean, the most pressing ones, our guest here, Mr. Rami, mentioned logistics, and he said it was one of the most pressing barriers. Now, can we speak of other stuff such as tariffs or regulations? Can we see maybe some easing up on that?
Yeah, I would say, generally speaking, and then probably going to more details. In the past, the country has, or the continent has known some Pan-Africanism symbolic. And we had so many slogans like Africa for Africans. You can talk about Africa first nowadays, talking about these beautiful slogans. But now I think for the past few years or maybe a few decades, we are moving from slogans to winning the battles of tools and instruments. We can name the ZLECAf, which is the free zone. Through this instrument of free zone, or the Afrixim Bank, which is a bank, an African bank dedicated to financing African projects. So through these kind of instruments, now we could overcome these challenges. The gentleman touched base with the infrastructure problems. I think exports and investments are depend mostly on infrastructure's development. Algeria is winning the infrastructure battle. As you can say, now we've moved in the past few months to get 10 direct flights to 10 different capitals in Africa. We have some direct shipping lines to 2 more countries, and we are advancing in the roads and train infrastructures as well. So Algeria is playing its role in this infrastructure battle, and trying to also coordinate with the other countries in order to overcome the tariffs and barriers, the tariffs challenges. You can, as I mentioned, the ZLECAf organization deal with trying to get the tariffs unified. So it's one of the
the roles of this
Absolutely, and
organization.
one of the challenges that we're trying to overcome through this organization. At the end of the day, Africa now is moving from slogans to instruments, which is really a good battle.
Amazing. Of course, we will get back to that point, but first we need to go live now to our colleague Zahra Fajani, who's in Liba Maritime at the SAFEX, kicking out our live field coverage. So Zahra Fajani, you're at the Exhibition Palace. You can go ahead with your guests.
Thank you, Karim. Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to All 24 News special interviews or series of interviews dedicated to the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025 hosted by Algeria. We are here today coming to you from the Algiers International Exhibition Center, SAFEX, where this major international or continental event is taking place. Today, I am honored to be joined by Mr. Sonny Ojaga, founder of Sahara Farms, Africa's first agri-intelligence platform, based in Canary Wharf, London's financial district. So thank you, sir, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Zara.
Thank you. So let's begin with Sahara Farm itself. Could you walk us through it? Like, what is the platform? How did it start, and how does it work?
Thank you, Zara. So Sahara Farm is actually a project that is kind of tied to my personal conviction and my personal belief in Africa in terms of all its vast potential. So Sahara Farm is a 6 years R&D, research and development project. So we only started the deployment of our agri-intelligence technology early this year. So it consists of a deep technology that has to do with agri-intelligence platform that serves the farmers, the institutional investors, and governments on a single unified platform.
Thank you. We know that the world is facing a food crisis, and Africa holds nearly 65% of the world's untapped arable land. So in this context, how can Sahara Farms contribute to preventing such a crisis and securing Africa's food future?
Oh, you are correct, Zara. But I even would like to allow me to return a question to you, to add to your question. So what you said is absolutely correct. But we also have 80% of African smallholder farmers that 90% of them are unbanked. So the primary role of Sahara Farm was to how do we get these 90% of the 80% of smallholder farmers across such a huge continent, 54 countries like Africa, how do we bring them to the credit market? So you can imagine the loss in terms of the continent's economy. Having 80% of smallholder farmers, 90% of them unbanked, and who also produce the bulk of the products, the food production of the continent. So it's such a great loss. So Sahara Farms, it's a tech-driven solution that operates on AI native, deep advanced algorithm and algorithmic blockchain has been put together to help address this issue at the sovereign grade and the institutional level.
Thank you. So looking ahead, you are opening 5 new partnership slots for the phase 2026-2027. So what kind of partners are you seeking, and what strengths or track records should they bring to the table?
Yeah, thank you again for that question, Zara. So because Sahara Farms is a macroeconomic solution, and because we believe that we need to look macro so that we can address the micro. So literally Sahara Farm is like there's a huge field of aggregated micro to make it macro. So what I mean by this is that, so our solution involves the engagement of the entire agricultural value chain, including the major stakeholders in the agricultural sector, the entire value chain. So in the major stakeholders, you have governments. Governments control jurisdictions. They are in charge of policies, of agricultural policies, economic policies, and most importantly, they have the capacity to provide large-scale, large farmlands, and on the long term, and providing all the guarantees. And then we also have institutional investors that are all over the world, all around the world, and that have liquidity, so much liquidity available, that is only waiting for investment-ready opportunity to invest and to deploy that capital. So, and then you have the farmers who are the main stars, who are actually, because without the farmers, there's no agriculture and there's no good food for you and I. And then we now bring all this under that same unified platform where, and literally what we provide is transparency, traceability across the entire value chain, from planting the seed to harvesting the seed, engaging the agri-logistic, and then from the agri-logistic to engaging the national, regional, international off-takers, and then the investors, of course, through an entire unified ecosystem that works and that provides transparency for all the stakeholders.
Are there like examples of countries in Africa that you have worked with so far?
Sorry, I beg your pardon?
Examples of countries that you have worked with so far?
At the moment,
Results and
like I said earlier, it's a very deep tech solutions that engages high-level institutions like government and institutional finance, and these are very large institutions that takes time to deploy. So currently, we are discussing with 3 global DFI, development finance institutions,
Yes.
and there are 3 major ones around the world, including some of them that are big names in Africa. So we are discussing on a pilot project in 2-3 countries in Africa at the moment. We should be able to finalize that agreement in the coming months, and then we'll start the deployment. Then deployment means us deploying the technology, all the sovereign grade connectivities across the countries that the development finance institution would have chosen for the pilot project. And there's certain information I cannot disclose here, but you know what I mean. So, and then they will choose those countries, then we will start the deployment of the technology and also the deployment of the capital, and also the working hand in hand with the government to bring together, to build the ecosystem, the agri-logistic ecosystem. So you need to bring all this agri-value chain together so that the project would be effective. So literally the deployment phase with all the stakeholders can take about between 6 to 18 months to put in place.
Indeed, thank you. So this fair, the IATF 2025, is a high visibility platform.
Absolutely.
Backed by the Afrexim Bank and the AFCFTA. How do you plan to leverage IATF 2025 to advance your platform, Sahara Farm's mission, and build new opportunities?
Oh, thank you for that question again. But please, if you allow me, I would like to first of all commend Afrexim Bank for all its impact across Africa. And I think I can say this from a vantage position because this is not my first IATF. So this is I participated as official exhibitor in IATF in Durban. So I see how this wonderful idea has been implemented from the start and how it's been growing and how it's bringing together not just the continent, not just the intra-African trade, but the entire world to engage with Africa and African to engage with Africa. So to answer your question, what we just expect to achieve here at the IATF is to fast track our engagement with more DFIs, because our solution is, like I said, is institutional grade and the sovereign grade, which means there are not many institutions, there are not like tens of thousands of institutions out there around the world that we can work with. But we just want to engage with more DFIs and be able to de-risk their agricultural investment portfolio across the entire continent. Of course, we're going to start with a couple of countries, and the pilot project that we're about to finalize right now with one of the major DFIs in the world and in Africa it's already a very great stepping stone for us.
How is it going so far?
Sorry?
How is it going so far?
Oh, absolutely great. Absolutely great. It's been 6 months, 7 months of discussion back to back, follow-up discussion. We're looking at all the aspects of the deployment. So it's because it's institutional grade, so it takes time to structure those kind of deals and put them in place. So far, so good, like literally so good. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And I would like finally to have a word on the host country of the IATF 2025, Algeria. So how do you assess the organization of this 4th edition of the IATF? And how is how is Algeria as a host ensuring the smooth running of the fair?
Yeah, I know you asked for a word. Would you allow me to say 3?
Sorry?
Can I say 3 words?
Yeah, of course.
I know you
take
asked for one word. So
Yes.
if you allow me to say 3 words, I would say amazing, amazing, and just amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic from the moment we landed to the airport. And then everything, the organization was great. They picked us up from the airport with my team, took us to the hotel. It's been fantastic so far, and it's really a privilege to be here. I'm enjoying Algeria.
Thank you. So your stand is here at the exhibition center. Have you been attracting some investors so far, like from yesterday till today afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great deal of interest because when it comes to agricultural sector and even across any sector, de-risking large-scale investment is the key. It's key to mobilize investors and to get investors' final decision. So it's all about de-risking. And the response, the feedback, it's incredible. It's incredibly amazing. And because we are not also so many doing that, because it's very, very complex infrastructure to put in place to de-risk institutional agricultural investment. And agriculture in its sense is already a high-risk sector that is exposed to all sort of hazard, climate hazard,
Yes.
all sort of hazard. We can't have time to list all of them here, but you know what I mean.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Sonny Ojaga, founder of Sahara Farms. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our first interview here in the, thank you, here in the International Exhibition Center. See you tomorrow, same appointment, same time. Thank you, we go back to you, Karim.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks to your guest for all these insights. A great snapshot from the ground that displayed a success story of one of the emerging companies in Africa. And now let's get back to our debate. And here I address you, Mr. Safari. We have been listening to this guest talking about his experience, from one African country to another. And you yourself have had this experience moving goods across African borders. Now, if we go back earlier to the discussion we were having with Mr. Quidri, he said that Algeria is doing great efforts, or making great efforts actually, to facilitate all these obstacles that we are finding for investors, especially Algerian ones and Africans. And he spoke about an African organization that is playing a major role in this as well. Now, you, based on your experience, AFCFTA can make a real difference, but what can we see on the ground? Is there anything measurable?
For me as a businessman, I believe in one thing, what I saw first. Let's answer you part by part. About Algeria, now is doing great efforts, especially with the new law of investing in Algeria. They are really facilitating things for bringing investors. Because as we know, in the economy, there is no economy can grow without bringing investors, or you take your investors to show your experience in other countries. When we are talking about Africa, Algeria is a part. I said that the economy, they put the policy they put it, the new one for investors, it's very helpful. This is what I saw on the ground. But when we talk about the effort or Algeria is doing, it's actually playing a very, very important role. Like I said, first because Algeria is a big country, with a very different resources. So there is a lot of industries there. So a lot of industries, that means a lot of products, that means a lot of interest for invests. This all is relative to each other. But also in the same time, I think for me, that also Algerians, businessmen also, they should. Actually, they need revolution and take our product to show Africa. Because trust me, I follow my experience. I saw a lot of products. They come from Asia, from America, or from Brazil, or from even New Zealand, Australia. They are very far, very far, and those basic products, and they are having their place, their market in African market in many countries. Here we can put a question. So as in Algeria especially, as like I said, is a big country, we have really the potential to move that product. And when we move that product to African countries, we can get also from them. Here we build the relationship. It's nothing about thinking, talking, is just take the step. This is my point of view as a businessman.
Absolutely. So you're pointing out to real potentials that Algeria can have with African countries, since we're having many goods coming from, let's say, Europe, United States, New Zealand, Australia, as you mentioned. But then these basic raw material and goods already exist in a country such as Algeria. So Algeria should actually have its place in, promoting for such products, Algerian products, within the African area. And here I ask you, Mr. Quidri, the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, was very pragmatic in his speech last time, and he gave figures, numbers, 6% of, growth when it comes to commerce and trade between these African countries. Now, can we feel that African governments are really moving fast enough, at least to say, to harmonize the standards and reduce the bureaucracy to conduct business, like Mr. Safari was saying?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, His Excellency, the President has said it with courage and with honesty that we have not gone with the pace that we should have as a continent, and now we need to speed up a bit in terms of integrating our economy, the African economy. The intra-African trade and investment, as this event is named, IATF, needs to get to the next stage through speeding up the processes. Actually, African countries need to probably speak more one to the other. We need to know a bit more what we all have in terms of competitive and comparative advantages. Through these competitive advantages, we can set the main topics, main objectives that we need to focus in terms of exchanges, in terms of integrating the value chain, the international value chain. Actually, as you can say, there is a lot of hope coming from this event and from the speeches, inspiring speeches from yesterday. I believe that one of the most important things that we need to really focus on is that instead of exporting our raw materials, we need to once again win the battle of the added value. We need to add value to the resources we have in this country. So this is something we really need to be really working on and focusing on in the whole country, and Algeria is one of them. Algeria, as my colleague here mentioned earlier on, is working through the investment regulation to make it more attractive. And through this investment, we can work on the added value, create more jobs and employment, and also get more expertise from the diaspora, as we were mentioning earlier on.
Thank you indeed, Mr. Quidri. So technically, you're speaking about Algeria stepping up and exploiting the potentials it has, especially when it comes to raw material that we have in Algeria and all these riches. But the issue is, can the government really handle all this? And here maybe we can speak about the private sector. And since Mr. Safari, you have been in Ghana and working there, you can tell us about the success story that Ghana had with the private sector, and how can Algeria or any other country maybe draw some lessons from that?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, Ghana also it's very, very, for me, I consider it is the capital of West Africa in economy. Yes. This is my point of view and what I saw there. So, of course, Algeria have to, like my colleague also mentioned before, that like our ambassadors and our team there from Algeria, they have to learn from this point to bring this experience to Algeria. And when we are talking about inter-African trade fair, it's not just for business, is also for experiences. This is no need to make yourself tired about it. It's an easy equation actually, because if my neighbor, he's advanced than me little and he already had this experience, he failed on it, me, I have to learn from it. But if his success in one point is the same for me. So in Ghana also now, they have different industries actually. Maybe also in Algeria, maybe we are far distance countries, but we are in one continent. So let me tell you that for me also Ghana it's a very great country in economy, in industry. They have heavy industries and they have very, very good experience in infrastructure, and the development also is very fast, especially now with the new presidents. I think they are doing very, very well. In different sectors.
Thank you indeed. And just as a final word, Mr. Quidri, very briefly, as we reach the end of our coverage for today.
Probably good to go back to the private sector point as well. Algeria has really a good experience in terms of working with the private sector. In terms of regulation, there is absolutely no difference between the public sector and private sector. The treatment is absolutely the same. And when you see the figures, the private sector is surpassing in some areas the public sectors. When you see the agribusiness or the home appliances sector, pharmaceutical as well, there's a lot of private sectors involved in it and doing a great job. So we're really encouraging both sector and private sector, public and private sectors in Algeria. Probably to end this beautiful meetings with you, to just remind everyone that Africa is and should really be to Africans first, and through these kind of events we need to emphasize on the integration, intra-African integration and complementarity, so we can go together as a continent, as a young continent, as a continent of high potential to the rest of the world.
Mr. Quidri and Mr. Safari, thank you indeed for all these insights for today. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we reach the end of our special coverage for today. Indeed, from diaspora engagement to small and medium enterprises trade corridors, IATF is Africa's marketplace in action. And we'll keep reporting live from Algiers. So stay tuned to All 24 News Channel to get all the updates on this landmark event. Good evening and thank you for watching again.